You know, as an actor, as a thespian, you know, we all love Shakespeare and treading the boards and doing all kinds of interesting historical characters. But as a boy, and also as a man, this is a childhood dream. I mean, superheroes, comic books, Marvel, I think every man and girl grows up with this in their childhood. So to be a part of that history is just, you know, it's a privilege. And then to be invited to play some of the characters that are beloved and also just so dynamic. I mean, that's why you get in the business. Yes, I did see the first film and I loved it. Kenneth Branagh's take on Thor. It was brilliant. I'll tell you why I liked it. Because, you know, the big tentpole movies can often concentrate on the action and the explosions. And I think what was really interesting about the first one is because there was some brilliant acting in it. And there was some great humanistic storylines in amongst all of the mystical sort of like, I don't know, grandeur of explosions and otherworldly things. It was very human and it was very moving. You know, the relationship between Thor and Loki, there's two brothers. And I think no matter who you are, what your race or what your gender, you can relate to these issues because it's all universal. I suppose Algrim and Kurse would be the quintessential baddies. But in reality, they are what I perceive as the scorned and the victims of the story. And why I say that is they are the elves who have basically lost their planet and their race to another race, the Asgardians. And so in an effort and an attempt to save their race, they decided to destroy it voluntarily with the mission to return at the right time in the celestial chart to reclaim their throne and their universe. Of the character in particular, it was integrity. Here was a man who places a noble objective beyond his own life. And I think there's something extremely, I suppose, noble and I think inspiring about that, because he looks to the bigger picture and sees himself as a means to that end. So that was appealing. And also the fact that, you know, here you were playing two characters in this fantastic tempo. And it's a great arc because you get to be these fantastic characters. I mean, and they do look very different. Algrim is this blue-eyed, blonde-haired, pointed-eared elf, and a very striking, majestic kind of captain of the army. And then Kurse becomes this indomitable power of darkness, this force. The process is a lengthy one. For instance, to become Algrim, it's about 2.5 to 3 hours of makeup, and obviously about 1.5 hours to take it off. And sometimes I would play both two characters in the same day. And so to play Kurse, it would take about 1.5 hours makeup to put on paint and glue on the face. So, you know, you're looking at a good 5 to 6 hours in makeup to play both of the characters. You know, but Algrim was quite lengthy because it also, as well as prosthetics, there was wigs and contact lenses, which I had to get used to because they impair your vision. You can't see an awful lot when you're wearing them, but I used that for the performance because you have to walk slow and majestic when you're wearing those things because you can't see anything, but it adds to the character. Chris is a professional. and he enjoys getting stuck in, and so do I. So I think we really had fun doing it. There's some great scenes, and I think that it shows through the performance. You'll see that we had fun, and we were there. We were looking in each other's eyes and just trying to go there as much as we can. And you know, often there was the little giggle to the side, because he would look at me and he'd be like, "Wow, those blue eyes really look blue on you." And I would look at his face that was two-tone, and I'm just like, you know, just stunned, because it really, the makeup was incredible. So, you know, we were both in admiration of each other's characters as well as, you know, bonded. Well, I mean, I came into this project as a sequel, so obviously there's already a formed bond between many of the principal characters, and you really get that. It's very much like a family, and I'm very privileged to be part of it and come in and do my thing, what I have to do. It's been an absolute delight. I mean, when you're in the room with Anthony Hopkins, and I've got Rene Russo on my shoulder, and Chris Hemsworth there, and you know, Chris on my side, and you know, you're in a good room, and you know, not forget Tom, and you know, it's just a great bunch of people, first of all, to work with, and then some very talented and committed actors, and that's a great combination to create great movies. Well, Alan's great, and Alan is a director I've worked with before, again, in my early career. I did a show called Oz, and so we met a long time ago, so I was familiar with his working process. He's an actor's director, which is quite a treat in such a large tentpole movie like this, where there tends to be a concentration on the action and the explosions. But here we have a director who's very attuned to actors' sensibilities, and also to you know, the frequencies and the relationships between each character. He's very on the nose. In fact, that seems to be his priority, and he has a natural flair for action. So that part is done. And what is, I think, his special talent is for just bringing, tweaking out the idiosyncrasies of each character, and making each character pop in an individual way.